they unilaterally decided to reduce
Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Board of Control.
So we've got
Hi, John.
more than just...
Six items, right?
This Turner's got a new mast.
This is the minutes, the approval of the May 3rd minutes. So that was just me and you, I think, right? So you want to make them, I'll second the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries on the minutes, and then you got 4 items then? Am I reading it right? Or you said 6?
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll move all 4.
All right, any discussion on those items?
That's
Okay.
our
All in favor?
council house.
Opposed?
I see.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, good to see you. Did you call him today?
7.
Remind him what time.
He did send me a text. Hey,
I'll be lost
check your inbox too, because my management review is done.
Okay, well, I'll just,
All right, Board of Control is done. We have a few minutes legally to start the council meeting, so bear with us. Again, if anybody needs to talk to council under public communication, you must sign in with the clerk.
I didn't even get my. Oh, okay. I didn't get, well, I really would. Yes, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
you don't want to eat that because of your sugar. I'll be glad to take it off your hands for you.
Oh.
Did you see the?
That's a fire hydrant.
I get
I said from a dog. This one's from a dog. You hope not.
You hope not. Dog biscuits. Well, you don't have a dog? You don't have a dog? Okay, I'll take it. I got
Where's directors? Is she coming along or what?
Yeah, we're getting big.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Flip this on the cat's tail glass.
Clerk asked,
That's me.
so Gary had a question. What if, like, who gets to go first? What if somebody, suspension of the first? Who gets to say it first? Like, you just have to be here. I motion to suspend the rules.
I know. And the problem is,
So you have to vote now first, small vote.
Good evening, it's 7:30. I'm going to welcome you to the May 17, 2023 Kent City Council meeting. All draft ordinances that are being voted on adoption tonight have been previously discussed in prior committee meetings with the input of the public, city administration, and council. Thank you for attending tonight's meeting. Would the clerk please read the roll?
Mr. Amrine?
Here.
Mr. DeLeon?
Here.
Mr. Ferrara?
Here.
Mr. Kuhar?
Here.
Ms. Rosenberg? Here. Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Here.
Mr. Sidoti?
Here.
Mr. Turner?
Here.
Ms. Wallach?
I'm sure she'll be coming.
Okay.
Opening remarks, Mr. DeLeon.
Well, nice to see everybody here. Would you please stand if you can for the pledge? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move the May 3rd, 2023 joint meeting with the Township Trustees and the April 19th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gwen. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Communications, public communications?
We have 3 people signed in. The first person we have is Michelle Crombie.
All right, I gotta read my thing. While the law does not require council to provide time for public comments, we have historically invited the public to make their comments and we appreciate their input. This is the time when the residents and others can comment on matters that concern them. However, we will not engage in any debate, and as President of Council, I reserve the right to end any public comments that becomes disruptive, embarrassment, harassment, or otherwise objectionable. We ask that you come to the podium, speak into the microphone, give your name, your address, and we'll allot you 3 minutes. First.
Actually, it's Mark Seaman.
Members of council and the rest of the audience, I'm Mark Seaman. I live at 518 Rockwell Street in Kent. I've lived here for a little over 30 years. I'm a regular voter, and I pay my taxes without cheating, which I consider to be the minimal qualifications for being a good citizen of the community. I've heard a good bit in the last 2 days particularly about the move, which seems to be the move most favored by council at this point, of going to a for-profit refuse collector as opposed to the county program. I'm not going to stand here and preach because I certainly don't know all the details in terms of what went into making this decision. I know a good bit, but I certainly don't know all. And you know, any of us like to be able to make an informed decision in terms of as much information as possible. But it seems to me that going from a county operation to a for-profit organization carries a number of potential pitfalls down the road. As a member of a community with a history of recycling, I'm very sorry to see this being taken out of local hands and put into a larger corporate sort of situation. I think it removes a good bit of control from the local community, and I think that negotiations in the future will be very uneven with respect to how this is going to go in the end for the city. So I would like to see it, as a citizen, remain locally controlled and locally influenced, as opposed to the plan that I understand is favored at this point by council. I've heard many of the objections, some of them being, well, the county did not provide a bid, which seems very strange to me. I've read that council provided every opportunity for the county to provide a bid. That seems like a very, I'm wondering if there might possibly have been some misunderstanding in that respect, because again, without any more information, I can't make sense of it, but it doesn't seem to make sense that they would not provide a bid. I'm just registering my concern, and I understand that you're going into this with full concern in your own mind, but you know, I would say that just to look at it as a Kent problem, and to say, as some on council have said, that their concern is with the citizens of Kent, the taxpayers of Kent, not necessarily with the county, in a sense that the county is kind of on their own, might be a short-sighted perspective, because the city and the county must get along. There will be times when that relationship may very possibly be turned on its head, and I would hate to see this as a bargaining chip in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Amy.
Tim Krasselt?
Tim Krasselt, 202 South Chestnut Street, Kent. Again, on the same matter of the recycling, just like to voice my concerns for this. You know, in Kent, we've always stressed you know, our local businesses and supporting our local businesses, and I think that, you know, supporting the county, you know, recycling program is a big part of that too. You know, I've used this and in their facilities, you know, even recently, 2 weeks ago, and having an outside service handle these is not necessarily the best. I've lived in Stowe, I've lived in Greene, where I've dealt with these other for-profit companies, and they're not necessarily always straightforward and as easy to work with as they seem on the front. So I would just like you to consider staying local, working with the county, seeing if we can work this out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
That's all.
Oh, okay. Written communications?
The annual report from Dan Morganti, Executive Director of the Portage County Land Bank, highlighting its various programs on residential revitalization, was received and forwarded to Council on April 26th. An email from Georgia Quinn, resident of Nicholas Drive, in regard to the detachment of land request on Johnson Road was received and forwarded to Council on April 28th, 2023. A letter from Renee Rahutsky, president of Kent Environmental Council, in regard to the petition of a detachment of land on Johnson Road was received and forwarded to Council on April 28th. Kent Board of Health meeting agenda and statistical report for the May 9th meeting was received on May the 4th, 2023. The Standing Rock Cemetery Board of Trustees agenda for May 10th, 2023 was received on April 20th. An email from Mr. Kuhar regarding the trash and recycling bid regarding complaints he received regarding the posting of bids and the fuel surcharge, requesting these be clarified or discussed on May 3rd. The May 3rd committee meeting. An email from Diane Stressing of Nicholas Drive in regards to the parcel of land being removed from the city was received and forwarded to Council on May the 3rd. An email from Bruce Zeta in regards to his concern over the noise levels in downtown Kent affecting those who reside downtown was received on May 5th. An email from Rick Coxley in regards to his request that Portage Street need to be restored was received and forwarded to Council on May 3rd. The City Flag Committee agenda for May 10th was received on May 3rd, 2023, and the Board of Zoning Appeals agenda and staff report for the May 15th meeting was received on May 8th, 2023.
Is that it?
Yes.
All right, thank you. City Manager's report. Jack?
Yes, I'd like to move items 1 through 10 on the city manager's report.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion? Gwen?
I just want to make a quick comment that I would like to specifically thank Girl Scout Troop number 91527 for their donation of a new bench that will be placed at the Parda bus stop on East Main Street in front of the Taco Bell. Thank you very much, girls.
Yes, I'll second that.
Any other discussion on the city manager's report? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Is there further, Mr. Earl?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Getting into standing committees, Committee of the Whole. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move the minutes of May 3rd, 2023 committee meeting.
Second.
Second by Roger. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention. There's no action in the Committee of the Whole on that. We need a motion to approve the PARTA board member that we interviewed 2 weeks ago.
I'd move to appoint Jack Murphy for the PARTA board.
Is there a second by Roger? Is there any discussion on the appointment? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you. Need a motion to authorize it then, right?
So moved. Yeah, that was the first thing.
Who seconded it?
Oh, second.
Second by Gwen. Any discussion on the authorization? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Would the
Abstain.
clerk, one abstention. Would the clerk read draft number 2023-027 in title only?
Draft 2023-027, a resolution appointing Jack Murphy to the Portage Area Regional Transit Authority Board and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Mike. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Amrine?
Abstain.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Amrine?
Abstain.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-027 has passed.
Okay, thank you. That's it for the committee of the whole. Committee development, there's no committee report, there's no action
I have one draft.
with the court. read draft number 2023-027 in title only.
Draft 2023-028, an ordinance approving a request for Community Development Block Grant CDBG assistance for the fiscal year 2023 under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, as amended, including the program year 2023 annual action plan, and authorize the execution and filing of the program year 2023 annual action plan, including related certifications, and upon awarding the grant, authorizing appropriation of funds and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Roger. Please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Farrar?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg? Yes. Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Move
Move
adoption.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Amrine. Ordinance 2023-028 has passed.
Okay, that's it for community development. Moving into Health and Safety Committee, Mr. Amrine.
Yes, I'd like to move the minutes from the May 3rd meeting.
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Can you separate the
Yes, I will. I'd like to move action 1.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And I'd like to move action 2.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Show of hands, all in favor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Against? 3. Okay. Would the clerk read draft number 2023-029 in title only?
Draft 2023-029, an ordinance amending Section 351.99 titled Penalty and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Mike. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-029 passes.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2023-30 in title only?
Draft 2023-030, an ordinance accepting a certain bid from Republic Services for the collection of refuse and recycled materials from city customers and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Under
Second.
adoption. This is suspension?
So are we not allowed to make comments?
Pardon?
For during adoption.
Adoption.
This is
Right now,
suspension.
the vote's for suspension.
Correct. I would like to
It-
make a comment on suspension.
Then you want to do it under adoption.
No, she wants to make
No,
it.
she wants to
On
make it.
suspension.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah. Can
Go
I-
ahead.
Okay, thank you. I am going to be voting against suspension of the emergency clause for this. And I think I'm doing this to allow for more time for public comment, because I think people are just learning about this situation where we're essentially talking about getting a divorce from the Portage County Recycling Center on collecting our recycling. And I think the levity of this situation really calls for more public comment, more discussion, and maybe some other options could emerge. It is kind of a sticky situation, but I'm going to be voting against that in order to allow for more time for public comment should it not pass.
Further on the suspension? To clarify, the vote on suspension is to, if it would fail, that means it would have to have 3 readings. If suspension would pass, then it would go into effect immediately. Am I right, Law Director?
Yes, or you would vote on it as it sits tonight. Yes.
Yep.
Point of clarification.
Please call the roll.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you have something to say?
Yes, I wanted to get an understanding of the vote on suspension. What is the level? What are the numbers
You need
required to?
seven votes.
Need
to
7
suspend.
votes.
Yes.
It hasn't changed in years.
Yeah.
I thought it was, okay.
Would the clerk read the roll for suspension?
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
No.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
No.
Ms. Wallach?
No.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes?
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Okay, suspension fails.
Pardon?
Suspension fails.
Okay, 6 votes.
So we need a motion on a first reading.
That is correct.
First reading.
Is there a second to?
Second.
Second by Roger. Is there any discussion on first reading? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're
That's
right,
okay.
roll call.
For first
Mr.
reading?
Kuhar?
Oh, does this mean?
It's just the first reading of the
On approval
ordinance.
of this? Okay, got it.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
No.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
No.
Ms. Wallach?
No.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
First reading is passed.
Somehow we should have read the draft.
The motion for the first reading has
Has
passed,
passed.
so now we'll read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a motion for adopting the first reading? Is that what we want?
So moved.
Who seconded it? Second by Roger?
No. Oh, I would have read it.
Oh, I'm
What?
sorry.
We already did the first thing, right?
We never read.
Voted on having the first reading. And you have
Oh.
to vote for the
All right.
Now she has to read
motion.
it.
She says,
I have to read it again? Okay. Draft 2023-030, an ordinance accepting a
Never
certain
read it.
bid from Republic Services for the collection of refuse and recycled materials from city customers and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension, or
Move
move
it.
first reading.
Second.
Second,
Can I have any comments?
we'll open this up for comments now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I have something to say.
Jack?
You know, 2
Mr.
weeks,
Amrine?
2 weeks ago, I voted in committee to reject the recycling bid from Republic, and I did so because I felt, as Mr. Seaman did, that it would, I wanted to keep it local and not give it to big business. But when I got home in the evening at 11-something that night, 11:30, I think, and my blood pressure was sky high, and I couldn't sleep, and my wife kept saying, would you quit tossing and turning? I decided to go downstairs, go on the computer, and research the bid process, because to be quite honest with you, I am not an expert in bids. We take our lead from our administration. The bid process is exactly what it says, a process. It is legal. We legally can't enter in a contract with a company who did not bid unless we reject the bids. If we reject the bids, we must demonstrate a cogent or compelling reason to do so. So I guess I have to change my vote, because if we reject the bids, I would assume that we're going to be sued by all the other companies that place bids. And we are the stewards of the tax dollars. And as much as that pains me, that's the decision I've come to. So.
Okay. Further discussion on adopting this, Mr. Kuhar?
Yeah, and that was one of the main items for me, was because of the legalities of the bidding process and what we're supposed to do, not what we'd like to do. And there's a couple of pieces of information that I got, and the one that was kind of interesting is that Republic Services actually has more people living in Kent than Portage County Recycling, and that was kind of a strange fact. But it's always going to be hard, and someone mentioned the word divorce. It's always going to be hard when you've had that long-lasting relationship. But there again, I feel that our obligation is to get the best service for the best value for the people that we represent, and that's the taxpayers of Kent. And those are the basic reasons why I've made my decision. And if it would have came down differently to us, I might have made a different decision, but it didn't. and we have to deal with what's put on our hook, and that's what was put on our hook.
You finished, John? Roger, you had your hand up?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I support the decision. Very difficult for me to do that. Mr. Seaman hit the nail right on the head. And what I'm about to say probably is not as politically correct as it should be. I wonder how in March, when we took the action to do nothing but open it up for bidding, we didn't discount anyone bidding. I wonder why the policy committee members of our solid waste management, why our commissioners didn't go to the manager, Dawn. I think she's been given a bad hand because no one gave her any kind of guidance. And I'm offended by that, because as a public servant, and if I was on one of these committees, or if I was a commissioner, I would have immediately gone to Dawn and said, Dawn, you need to put a bid in, even if the bid is the same amount. Although, as a citizen of Kent, and as an avid supporter of Portage County Recycling, I think I could have made a good case if she would have come back, not she, but if the recycling center would have come back and said, listen, Kent has been really good. We broke the contract 3 times over 5 years, and we continued to support, even when they broke the contract. I would have gladly fought, even in court, if they would have come back with, let's say, $4. I think I could have made a good case that the best, the lowest and best bid, because that's what the law says. We have to accept the lowest and best bid. Lowest and best. I could have made a great argument that the best bid would have been to continue with our partner at Portage County Recycling. And the fact of the matter is that young lady back there and all those workers back there were never given the direction. I don't know about you, but I'm offended by that. The more I thought about that, I'm thinking, wait a minute. We are sitting here trying to defend the indefensible. We're trying to defend the indefensible. And the fact of the matter is no bid came in from Portage County. And I question, I have to ask that question. Why? Why? Who's out to destroy Portage County Recycling? It is not Kent, Ohio. We support it. We've loved it forever. I used to teach about it in Aurora High School in '75 about how forward-thinking the city of Kent is. I lived here. And the fact of the matter is that we've been let down. And there is no retreat. There's no legal retreat other than to call it the way it is. And if someone's offended by that, I'm sorry, we get criticized all the time. I don't take it personally. But I will tell you, someone let these people down, and it wasn't the city of Kent. Therefore, I'll vote yes.
Do you have your hand up? Anybody else? All right, with all that said, Robin, you got your hand up or not?
Yes.
All right.
I love the passion in Roger's part.
Talk in the microphone so...
I say I love the passion on Roger's part. I wish he then would vote against it. The issue for me is whether or not that was a fatal flaw. It was a bad one. Really. It was very unfortunate. I don't view it as a fatal flaw. I think that for the passion that Roger and some of the others have shown up here as to the importance of our relationship with the Portage County Recycling Center, that we have an opportunity to actually go back to the drawing board and see exactly how we can make this work. I think it's the issue for me is that, quite frankly, what does lowest and best mean? I would actually like to get a determination on what that actually means, what latitude that gives council. Lowest and best, okay, we have an objective standard, and then it appears to me you have a subjective one that you apply in the bid process. I don't know which actually takes precedent. I mean, we get a lower bid, but then we make our determination about what is best for our community. So we weigh out other factors. And at the end of the day, that's pretty wide latitude. That's kind of nebulous. I think we need to have greater discussion about actually where we are as a council before we start talking about some of our council members are not voting their conscience. Because what they're saying is we're up against a legal conundrum. That shouldn't be where we're at here. People should be able to do what's in the best interest of what they view the community's interest to be. Mr. Seaman had stated his. I've heard a lot of the others. I understand the value concept as well, because I'm a low-income person. So it does make a difference, but it doesn't overwhelm me. My hope is that we keep this local, because there is an additional and added value by keeping it local, by keeping it in Portage County. There's a historical linkage to what is transpiring in this county based on the Kent Environmental Council and other people of a movement here that actually created the solid waste district, and Kent is the focus of that. I don't want to see that go away. That has tremendous value to people like Mr. Seaman, to others who understand the historical implications. So I will be voting against that. I think that our administration, Melanie, did her job to the T, and she always does. And this is no reflection on her. But we have a charge too, and that's to represent our constituency, understand our history as a community, and therefore I'm going to back Portage County Solid Waste, because I think that they are unique, and they're unique because of what happened in this city 30, 40 years ago. We established something in this state based on what happened here, and I don't want to see us walk away from that.
Anybody else? Please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
No.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
No.
Ms. Swalick?
No.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Farrar?
Yes.
Now the first reading has passed.
Okay, that's it for health and public safety. Moving on to land use. Mr. Ferrer.
I would move the approval of the committee meeting minutes of May 3rd, and
Second.
there's one action.
No, just separate those, please.
There's only one. You want the minutes separated from the action?
When did you second it?
Second, yeah.
All right, is there any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
No,
Aye.
one abstention,
And
2 abstentions?
No, he
No.
said aye.
What did you vote, John?
No.
Okay, so there's 1 no, 1
you
abstention.
voted
No on the minute.
no again to accept the minutes.
No.
But we only did the
No,
minutes.
yes, yes, to accept the minute. Okay.
And there's one action.
Second.
Second by Mike, is there any discussion on the action? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
Aye.
sign. All right,
That was one no.
1 no.
Giving land away, huh?
Okay, moving on to streets and sidewalks.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move the May 3rd, 2023 committee meeting minutes.
Second.
Second by John. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. One abstention.
I'd like to move the action recommended.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on the action? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, with the clerk read draft number 2023-031 in title only.
Draft 2023-031, an ordinance amending Section 353.02, parking regulation authorization of the codified ordinances of the City of Kent to change the permissible parking conditions on Cuyahoga Street adjacent to the old HW Industries building and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Please call the roll on suspension.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach? Yes. Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes. Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-031 passes.
Okay, thank you. That's it for street sidewalks and utilities. Moving on into the Finance Committee, Mr. DeLeon.
I'll move the minutes from the May 3rd committee meeting.
Second.
Second by Gwen. Is there any discussion on the minutes? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, and one abstention.
There's 3 actions I'll move.
Second.
Second by John. Is there any discussion on the actions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2023-32, title only?
Draft 2023-032, an ordinance authorizing the City of Kent to submit a funding application for a Safe Streets for All, SS4A, federal grant for the East Main Street Area Improvements Project, and to accept the grant if awarded and execute the subsequent grant agreement with the corresponding appropriation of funds and declaring emergency.
Move suspension?
Second.
Second by John. Please call the roll for suspension.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Please call the roll for adoption.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-032 has passed.
Thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2023-033 in title only?
Draft 2023-033, an ordinance authorizing the city manager or his designee to accept a Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, Public Health, the Workforce Development 23 grant in the amount of $360,000 and request to apply for an additional Enhanced Operations EO 23 grant in the amount of $70,832 for the City of Kent Health Department and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second?
Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-033 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2023-034 in title only?
Draft 2023-034, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2022-138, the current appropriation ordinance passed December 21st, 2022, so as to adjust appropriations, transfers, and advances from the various funds of the City of Kent to individual accounts for the current expenses of the city for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Mike. Call the roll for suspension.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Farrar?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Gwen. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Farrar?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-034 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2023-035 in title only?
Draft 2023-035, an ordinance authorizing the city manager or his designee to enter into a contract with Stryker for the purchase of Lucas Machine CPR devices, waiving competitive bidding and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Second by Mike. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
And Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Wallach?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-035 passes.
Okay, thank you. That's it for Finance Committee. Is there any unfinished business? Seeing none, moving on to council comments. Mr. Ferrer?
New business.
New business.
Oh,
New
new
business, I'm
business.
sorry. Roger, you just asked me.
Yep. Well, might as well, since I've had many awkward comments tonight, I might as well have some more. You know, there are people who are sitting around this table, fellow council members, who I have great affection for and great
New
respect
business?
for.
This
What?
is new business.
No, a new business. I'm
Okay,
I'm
okay.
I'm giving you new business. Come on.
Give me the business.
No. Well, I had affection for everyone
He's
except you,
in
right?
with the parameters of council.
The point is this, and it's awkward, but it's true. We are going to be losing some of our council members. Sadly, we're going to be losing some of our council members. And the fact of the matter is the people sitting around here, and for our audience, fought like crazy to find a way to provide a new city hall with no additional taxes for this community. And these people were we were all part of that decision-making process. We were all part of that design process. I would like to I'd like to put a motion on the floor that we direct our administration to begin to develop plans for whether the building is habitable or not, that we dedicate this building the first meeting in December before we lose, or even earlier, before we lose these people, and their names be on that plaque as being the leaders of getting this done. That's my motion.
Second.
Second by who? Oh, Heidi. Any further discussion, Roger?
No, I'm as awkward as I can be.
You're an educator. Heidi, you second it?
It's a great idea, and I think it really honors the role of everybody, and the fact that we've been working on this for a very long time. And yeah, I think that there needs to be some kind of ceremonial recognition of the role of this team.
Right.
Before we do a changeover.
John?
Yeah, it's nice that we all signed the beam, but they covered that up. They're gonna have to tear the building down to see who it's here.
That's
you
right,
know?
they did.
Is that your comment?
Yeah.
Jack?
No, I think it's the right thing to do, and I also think that when the building is dedicated, that these people should be there with us
Exactly.
by our side, because we've worked side by side on this.
God willing.
Yes.
Any other comment? Mr. Ferrer?
I would say that's a very nice motion. I'll abstain, but I would say thank you on my behalf. I don't want to speak for Ms. Wallach, but thank you. It's very nice.
Any other comments?
Can I just make one more?
All right.
Okay. Mr. Farrar and I sat at the corner at Panini's, if you recall. And we ate lunch, and we looked at the old police station long before, and we said, wouldn't it be nice if a new city hall was there? think it's real significant that his name on that plaque.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Nay.
One abstention?
Two.
Two. All right. Any other new business? Tracy?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to rescind the letter given to the Portage County Recycling Center on April 28th to cancel their contract.
Second.
That's all.
Further discussion?
I don't have anything to say.
I have something
Heidi,
to say.
further discussion?
Yeah. Well, we have explored this, and while there may be some
Is it legal?
repercussions,
Legal?
Yeah, it's legal.
it's
Okay.
legal. It's legal.
I'm talking to the law director. That's her.
Yes, and they're nodding.
All right, well, I wanted to know.
This is legal. There may be some repercussions, like, I don't really know how that impacts whether we need to do another bidding process or not. However,
Can't.
I think that council might have made a mistake in allowing this recycling system, or this recycling service, to even be bid. We had an ongoing contract that seemed to be working for people. I didn't get any complaints about it. No one said, gee, I wish it was cheaper. People might not have liked the every other week, but there were reasons for that, and it also is helpful to the environment. I think that the best interest of the community, from what I'm hearing and from in my heart that I feel, is to keep this service local, keep it transparent, because it is. We have a representative that sits on this board from our council. You can't get more transparent than that in a lot of ways, We have representation. We won't have representation on the board of a private entity. I'm not going to say that they won't do what they say they're going to do. It's just that there's going to be a lot of questions from people. There's going to be a lot of concern. And I fear that down the road, we are going to regret this. And one of the things I see is that, for some reason I see this, that we're going to have to start all over someday with a new recycling system. I just see that happening unless we build on what we have already with our partnership with Portage County Recycling and the Portage County Solid Waste District. Are they liable for doing something stupid? Maybe. But I do think that we hold some liability too in allowing this to go forward. I think I really should not have said, let's do this. This is a good idea to put this bidding process out. There was a contract in place, and I'd like to maintain that contract. So that's what this motion is about rescinding the cancellation letter of the contract. And of course, I'll be voting yes.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm bringing up the vote to rescind the contract with Portage, that went to Portage County Recycling Center.
Letter.
All in favor, I'm going to ask for hands. All in favor, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3. Against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It fails.
New business.
Tracy?
Yeah, the city of Kent has stood by the Portage County Recycling Center since the inception of the curbside recycling program in 1990. Our solid waste management district has been a model for the rest of the state and the country. People came from all over the country to ask about how we did it and what we did. And going with a different company to pick up recyclables is a dramatic shift of policy for Kent. Therefore, I'd like to direct the administration to come up with another way that we can support the Portage County Recycling Center and all the other free services they provide, maybe with a grant or something like that. So I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Second by Heidi. Is there further discussion, Tracy?
No.
Heidi, further discussion?
Well, I think that with the limited things that are being recycled on the pickup, curbside pickup, I think that certainly there would be opportunities to look at an expansion of what can be recycled. Whether that is a drop-off or some kind of a one-pointed pickup, or I don't know that we would do a curbside thing for that, but to use the innovation that we've always had, that innovation, and have a partner in innovation that doesn't need to make a profit, I think is a really important thing. They can take some risks, and we can help mitigate those risks with using the city leverage. We have a sustainability coordinator now, and we also have a climate action plan that would probably we would benefit from that partnership. And so I want to support that motion to direct the city manager to look at additional ways that we can partner or support Portage County Recycling.
Roger?
We are all citizens of Portage County, all right? I want to know what the Portage County Commissioners are doing, that we would have to give a grant to the Portage County Recycling Center. I can't lay it out any simpler. Where are the dollars in Portage County? Where is their active support of that recycling center? And now you want us to have our citizens provide, not only pay for the service, they want to provide an additional grant. I can't support that. I think this is idiocy. I think the problem lies right in Ravenna, Ohio.
Anybody else have? All right. Heidi?
We wouldn't just be giving money to them, Roger. We would derive a benefit of some kind from that. It would be some kind of a partnership. And I can already think of some things that we could improve on and do more of. So that I think that it's just saying, we're acknowledging the role that we've developed with Portage County Recycling, and would like to continue to work with them in future endeavors. It doesn't mean that we are going to be accepting their bid for curbside pickup right now. And yeah, I mean, it's anything that we agree to, we're going to have to discuss, and anything that the administration comes up, we're going to have to discuss and agree to. And if we feel that it's just subsidizing somebody without any benefit to the city, then say so and vote it down. Or let's not even let it come to the table, to the voting table. I'm just saying this is an acknowledgement, and also some opportunities here, some creativity, and I think this is gonna help mitigate some of the bad taste in people's mouths that may occur as a result of what appears to be our decision to go with the bid with Republic.
John?
I'm going to vote against the motion.
I can't believe it.
I think, from what I've seen everybody can say something about what their company does or don't do, but from what I've seen from Republic, they're doing some things that Portage County and a lot of the for-profit trash collectors aren't doing by, the large natural gas contribution and the food grade plastic. But if my memory serves me right, and sometimes it doesn't, I think I recall someone saying that all the things that Republic doesn't pick up, we still will have available to us to be removed. And I would imagine those items are already designed to go to Portage County, and somebody's probably already going to pay them to do that. So to make up something different to do the same thing doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Am I mistaken that someone said we're still going to have the tire pickup, still going to have the battery pickup, still have all the little odds and ends pick up? They gotta go somewhere. So, that's why I'm voting against the motion.
Mr. Turner?
Yeah, what Heidi asked is simply to explore the possibilities. That's not a biggie. We should be doing that. I mean, we should be reaching out. I mean, we have an opportunity to try and stabilize an institution in this county. This is not about money all the time. I mean, we get into that. We get caught up in it. There's another value associated with recycling in the city of Kent. Go read a little, get back into a little, study community history a little bit. I'm at a loss, actually, that this is even really that big a discussion. It's right now us reaching out to an organization that has its genesis here. This is Kent is, it's one of the things that Kent is known for, is recycling. You had a bunch of people that we viewed as tree huggers that were visionary enough to get out there and work to accomplish this. And now we're going to sit up here and argue about, well, we got a few dollars we got to save. Crap, I can remember when we were thinking about going over here to the jail, we were thinking about expending $1.25 million to change the color. And now we're going to sit up here and talk about the value of what we're doing with the recycling thing, which is a part of us. It's Kent. It's incredible. And I'm not, what the staff did, they did their job. And that is not looking at, but it then came to council. We had the authority to make our statement about the values of this community. And then a lot of us backed up because we're afraid that we could go to court. This could be, that's all well and good. But this is a very litigious society. People go to court every day. If our values are being lost in the process, that's the mistake. We can do better than that. We represent people in this community whose values are important and have to be represented. And so, I mean, it's not like Roger said, we have a tremendous council, just like we have an excellent, and that's no beating up on that. But folks, we have to understand our boundaries as a council in making decisions. And we can't get pulled down every time somebody comes and says, yeah, but you know, it could be a situation where we could get sued. And even though your values are out here, you better watch the dollars. So I think I'll definitely be supporting what Heidi's saying. It's not a big deal. We're asking to go out there and look at opportunities that we still may have in trying to stabilize the institution that we birthed.
Here.
Yeah, I have several comments with regard to the motion and comments that were made. Is staff did do their job, and council's job is to do our job, and that is to watch the dollars and cents. And you can't give a contract to a bid that was never made. It's a false argument, and that I can't even believe, as Robin said, we're discussing it. And furthermore, the very same people that are saying money is not important are the same people that were arguing about doing away with the garbage proposal with the single bag. For probably less than 100 people in the city of Kent, we kept that because some people argued that a $2 increase for those very people would hurt them financially. And now we're saying $2.50 is not going to hurt 25,000 people in the city. That's hypocrisy at best.
Point of order, that's not talking about the motion.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
No, this motion
Just because you don't like it, doesn't mean that I'm not talking about it.
No, the
Or
motion
to the
doesn't have
motion.
anything
And
to
so
do-
the motion is to pass this off to the county. And I'm saying, why would we pass this off to the county and hand them this money?
No.
Or
Wait,
the
wait, wait.
the potential.
Point of order. Amy, read the motion.
The motion was to direct the city manager or the administration to come up with another way and a form, or to support Portage County recycling with a grant or in another way.
Yeah, something
So
like
I am speaking, telling you why I'm not voting in favor of the motion. Is that not speaking to the motion?
Yep.
And so, as I was saying, we talk about helping the county, but the very same county broke that same contract 3 times. They told us, they came back and said, we're not going to pick up every week. We're going to pick up biweekly. We're going to cut the price in half, because of the services cut in half, and they didn't. And then they came back a week later and said, oh, by the way, the price is the same. And the last thing I'll say is this idea that I got 2 more things, I'm sorry. This idea that because it's a non-profit is somehow better. You know what? Profit drives innovation. So to say that any firm is not going to try to innovate to increase their profit is ridiculous. It's why we are the greatest country, the greatest economy in the world, is because people strive for profit. And to get that profit, it comes from innovation. So the idea of it being a nonprofit makes it somehow better and better holistically for the community, I think I would disagree with. My last comment that I would say is, I think I lost my train of thought now.
Your last comment is your train of thought?
Yeah, that's, I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that.
All right, Gwen.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be supporting the motion. I think it's a little bit too vague. I'm not necessarily totally sure what I would be voting for. We have a number of nonprofit businesses in the city of Kent, so to single out one nonprofit to make special grant money available to me doesn't sound like the best path for taxpayer dollars. However, if in the future the city of Kent were to create some sort of situation where there was a grant or some kind of sustainability-led possibility, I wouldn't be necessarily opposed so long it was open to anyone who fell under that umbrella to apply. But I can't be supportive of looking to find a way to funnel grant money to a specific business. So unfortunately, I'm going to say no. But I'm not opposed to, in the future, there being a more specific, more targeted and focused support of environmental activities and recycling. I just can't support this motion as it is right now.
Any more comment? Roger, one more?
We got to make this clear. No one wants to see Portage County Recycling not be successful. If anything, this may cause the organization to look at themselves, reorganize themselves. It may cause the commissioners to take a hard look at what they're doing. And so I'd like to give them more time before we even begin to talk about how does the city of Kent, improve Portage County Recycling, no matter what it is. So I'm going to vote no. And by the way, one last thing. 5 years from now, I pray to God that there are going to be parts sitting at this table and putting a bid in. But that's up to them, not up to us.
All right, all in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 4. Against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's failed. Any more comments?
I got no new business still.
You guys kind of ran new business and comment together. All right, new business, we're still on it. Garrett, Ben.
She still has.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I wanted to say if we're really trying to make North Water a destination for people, I think we're going to really need to do something about that Portage Street because it's nasty looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can maybe look for funds from the state, or even Main Street Kent could get some funds from the Main Street Kent organization. I mean the Main Street organization, the Ohio Main Street organization, something like that. So
correct me if I misunderstood. You want Main Street to help fund Portage Street?
No, I said, we're gonna have to get, something has to be done with Portage
Right.
Street. And I'm saying, I'm just giving some options, what maybe we can look into or something like that. I don't know how to make that a motion. Do something
Sorry,
about
are you
Portage
referring
Street.
that to the administration?
Yes.
Is that a motion, Tracy?
Yes.
Second it.
Second by Roger. Discussion. Wait a minute. Tracy,
No, I'm done.
discussion, Roger?
Yeah, we need to do something with Portage Street.
Yeah, I would agree with Roger. I drove down Portage Street and I thought I was going to lose my entire chassis of my car. It definitely needs some sort of work.
Oh,
Tracy?
And I would say, take it back to its historical brick streets, like we have Franklin Avenue,
Absolutely.
instead of asphalt.
Anybody else? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I gotta say, I remember some people's liking it because it's called traffic calming.
Right, I got two
That was
items.
20 years
Okay,
ago.
Garrett.
I have two items for, I would, Bruce DeZetta made a good point about the noise ordinance, and that seems to be a more relevant topic, so I would just refer to the administration to discuss or to look into recommendations for noise abatement and noise ordinances for the downtown central business district.
There's a second? Second by Heidi?
Well, I've already made that motion, we already approved it at a previous meeting.
Oh, well, nice job.
That's
So
a
my
good point.
second motion that I hope maybe Heidi made also was the lighting issue, which I know has been mentioned by Melanie, I believe, in one of her correspondences, but, you drive by the old Parks and Rec building and the vape shops, and you could land a 747 there, the lighting is so obnoxious. So somewhere I think I prefer the administration to look into some type of lighting ordinance and how we don't look like a neon jungle.
I can't remember if somebody already made that motion, but we're already looking
Okay.
at Bridget's
It was brought
draft.
up.
I feel like
It's on the
somebody
pending
did, so
Yeah.
this summer we hope to have.
What's that?
Just sit there and be quiet.
That's all I have.
Right,
Did anybody,
God,
did anybody
Roger.
else want me to reinforce anything else? I'm happy to do it,
Anybody else? Now can we move down to council comments?
I just would have one comment to go back to the recycling issues. If Kent, as Kent citizens have been so passionate about recycling, the simple fact is if they're truly passionate, which I believe they and we are, then they're going to continue to recycle. And it's about the end process of recycling and not necessarily who it has to be. So it's nice that Kent citizens are passionate, but the fact of the matter is Kent residents will always utilize the resources to recycle. So I think it's irrelevant of who the provider is.
Any other, Gwen?
So I've got a couple of comments. I would like to congratulate our water department on a 100-year birthday. You don't look a day over it. They had a fantastic celebration of the 100th. I hope that I was able to attend. There were tours, there were little chocolate hydrants, there were balloons and all kinds of good stuff. And it was just a fantastic, fantastic celebration. Clean water is critically important. They take their jobs very seriously. They do a wonderful job. Congratulations to everyone over at the water plant there, and happy birthday to them. And then on a similar note, I'd also like to congratulate all of the graduates from Kent State University who graduated after a long, I'm sure, very long for some of them, college career, and we wish them all the best of luck. And I just want to express how grateful I am that they chose Kent State University and to come to Kent for their higher education. And best of luck to them, and congratulations.
John?
I don't know when it started, but in 1963, when I was in California, I couldn't figure out why they were sorting out all the bottles and the boxes. And I think someone from California brought the idea to Kent. And in 1968, I brought the first bottle of Boone's Farm to Apple wine. So, So I don't know how long have we had recycling?
Early 80s,
Yeah,
70,
Before that.
Before that.
yeah.
So California was the first on the ball on that one, I think.
Any other comment? Mike?
I don't have a comment, I have a reminder. If anybody hasn't done their evaluation.
Can you
for
see
Mr.
those
Ruler-
people personally and ask them?
Well, I want to do that right now, because
All right.
obviously I've sent emails, and so, here we go. That's all.
All right. Anybody else? The mayor gets to speak.
Oh, no.
Let's take it for granted, we're gonna, on the June 7th meeting, we're gonna have a special council meeting to revisit 2023-030. Am I right?
That
Okay.
would be up to you.
I just said we were doing it.
Okay.
For the second reading. I never got a chance to talk about recycling, but I spent a lot of time on Marvin Avenue with Harriet Bagoa, Pat Reed, Walt Adams, and I volunteered my time down there. And I learned to recycle, and I volunteered, and I helped them get this started. But I think Roger hit the nail on the head. I think the commissioners have failed the Portage County Recycling Center. I think they can work this out, and I think they can come competitive again, and I think we'll revisit them someday. The other thing is, also wanted to say happy birthday to the water plant, but Gwen jumped on it. We gave 2 proclamations out there, and Jack was there and Gwen was there. Some of you have to work, so I understand why you weren't there, but it was a good celebration. You got to remember when Kathy Chandler was on Channel 5? 3. And they had 3 glasses of water, and she sampled them all, and she was supposed to pick out Kent water, and it didn't really happen. But I don't know really if I could do that or not. But that's just a funny thing about it. But this week also is Light Ohio Blue Police Week. Don't be afraid to thank our officers that are out there on behalf of you, so you have a safe community. I feel that we have a group of people that are out there for our benefit, to act professionally, and they do their job. And best of all, we pray that they all go home safe to their family every night after their shift. The other thing is, I can't believe it, I was told today, after 13 years, the mayor's food challenge between Kent and Ravenna, the mayor of Kent finally won. Totally canned goods and money-wise. It's unbelievable. And with that, I have nothing more. We're adjourned. Thanks for coming. Oh, I do have one more thing.
See, you picked on us.
The Heritage Festival is July 1st. If you guys want to be part of it, we have to fill an application out to get it back to the chamber. I can't chair it because I'll be in 100 different places that day. So who wants to chair it, we'll put your name on the application. It has to be in by June 9th.